All right, so hello. You know what's crazy? I'm like, it's fucking snowing. Okay, move, motherfucker. Whoa, what the fuck? This is actually kind of crazy. I don't know. All right. Well, that definitely is this is a mood. This is interesting. Like, it's like all of a sudden really snowing. Like, the fuck? Wow. Hello, winter. This is very interesting. I did not expect this. So how am I doing? Well, you know, like, I'm just gonna, yeah. I still have hope. And I feel like it's really just a defense mechanism for my brain. And I have hope that me and my girlfriend are somehow gonna work out, or we'll be together in the end somehow. We'll be together. This is the hope that I have. Even if we have to take a break in March or whatever, right? We're gonna be together. Like afterwards, I don't even know. Even if it's years down the line, somehow I'll be with her. And this is the only thing that's like not making me absolutely lose my mind right now. Is I guess I'm just lying to myself. But at the same time, dude, like, it is all uncertain. Life is completely unpredictable. I don't know what's going to happen. And I guess right now I'm not super trying to trip about it. Like, I'm not really trying to fucking lose my shit over it. I'm just going to turn this down. I kind of want it quiet. There we go. I don't want to lose my mind over it. Okay, river's still flowing. All right. Wow, all of a sudden the snow is just here. And you know what, like this week or whatever, I'm really gonna try to just, again, like, I did exercise yesterday. Like, I took care of myself physically, I would say pretty decently. I had bread with cheese, ham, and an egg on top. And I had 2 cucumbers with some salt and pepper and olive oil. It was great. Just like how my girlfriend cooks it or whatever, but I did it by myself, and it just felt really good. Like, I'm like, it's really amazing, the physical health, when you really like start trying to pay attention to it, and you start trying to take care of your body and your physical, like, it's amazing how much better you start to feel. Like, but you know, the thing is though, it's amazing because last night I was trying to go to sleep, and like I couldn't go to sleep. Like, I was trying, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, can I fucking pass out by now? Like, what is this shit? It's really annoying me. So I kind of went to bed like later than I would have liked, but you know, it was still fine. Like, it was still all right. But I wish I got like an extra hour of sleep. And even right now, I'm trying to like realize, like, I'm like, you know what? My girlfriend's not even listening to this anymore. She can't. That's another big fucking thing. It's like she can't even listen to me. Like, it's actually unpredictable if she's actually going to hear my video or not. I have no idea. Like, I'm still going to send it to her, but like, I have no idea if she's listening. She told me yesterday, like, she wants to kind of stay away from me for a second and really just focus on herself. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I understand that. You know, like, all right. And yeah, and then yesterday with the fucking couples counselor, like, I fucking cried, like really heavily for a second. Like it was bad because I really felt how awful the situation is with my relationship. I felt how bad it is. Like it hit me because he asked me, he was like, you know, because I was telling him, I'm like, I really disconnect from reality. Like, I don't want to feel any of these things right now. You know, and he's like, well, you know, sometimes it's really, really necessary to feel those things, you know, and to go through that. I'm like, yeah, okay, I understand that, and I just felt it. And wow, she literally just texted me right now saying, "Happy first snow." Well, you know what? I'm like, happy first snow to you too. As I'm talking about me crying in a therapy session. Anyways, I really do, well, hold on, let me reset because it's just weird that she texted me right now, so I kind of have to just refocus up. It's really weird how it is snowing. It's very strange. I really didn't expect that. Like all of a sudden it came out of nowhere. Like there was no snow at all. I didn't look at the weather. I don't fucking check that shit. So this was very unexpected. Kind of a pleasant surprise. I'm wearing shorts still and it's fucking snowing, huh? Isn't that cool? Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Anyways, so what I want to say, actually, real quick again, is, yeah, again, I don't know if she's actually watching this. I don't know. Nobody's really watching these. So I want to realize that again. And okay, and also, I just want to talk to myself. Like, it's just, I am talking to myself. I'm trying to just have conversation with myself, and whoever wants to listen, blah, 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 right? I looked at psychology, like, degrees, or not degrees necessarily, but jobs that you can do as a psychologist, but not you're a therapist. I was trying to look for, I don't want to be a therapist. I realize how hard of a job that is, and I also realize, I don't know, the type of person you kind of have to be a therapist, and I'm not stable enough, and I don't really feel like I will find, just as of right now, that's not a field I necessarily want to pursue. I'm like, oh, I want to be a therapist. I want to help people. Like, no, I don't. I don't want to listen to people's problems all day necessarily. You know, like, that's the other thing. It's like, well, who wants to listen to my problems? Because that's all I'm saying. I'm talking about my problems on here. I'm not really talking about shit else, right? So, I don't know. I just don't feel like that's a field I necessarily, but I do find psychology very interesting, and I do want to learn about it. And all of a sudden I just got the feeling right now, I'm like, wow, nobody's listening. Nobody's listening. And I'm like, wow, I just felt this isolation. And I'm like, and it's snowing, and it's adding to my mental state of mind. I'm like, it's cold, and now like nobody hears me. Nobody really hears me. And as much as I keep saying that I don't want to care, or I don't want to give a shit, no, I do care. I do want to be heard. I do want to feel like I'm heard. I guess it just keeps going back to that feeling of being unloved. And I'm going through that process of letting that go. I'm trying to just let that go, but I don't know how right now. That's a very difficult thing, and I don't even know if I need to let it go anyways. I don't know if I need to let go of this concept of love that I have. You know, maybe it is an all right thing to pursue, or maybe it isn't. I don't know the answer to that question right now, which is also very stressful. I'm just like, damn it, you know, like, what do I do? And I feel how I'm freezing, and I feel how like it's useless to talk. I don't want to talk. I even thought about it this morning. I was like getting all the mics out and setting it up and getting the equipment ready and all that shit. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, do I even want to do this right now? Like, do I really want to do this right now? Not really, but I'm gonna do it anyways, and I'm still gonna talk about how I feel. Like right now, I don't know. Like I don't know how I feel. I just, and again, I don't even really want to feel how I feel. Actually, I'm like, what? And this is what I want to say. How would I like my day to go? What would I like to do today? You know, what would I like to? Like for example, okay, when I get home today, what do I want to take care of? I want to take care of myself. What do I want to eat, right? Like there's some peppers me and her bought. And I'm like, damn, there's not going to be a me and her, probably. There's not going to be these me and my girlfriend talking points anymore, potentially. And you know, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make some pepper. I'm just like, I just got so sad. Like I am sad. I'm very sad. I'm very devastated. And that's the other thing. I'm like, wow, I really realized that. I'm like, she was listening to me, and now she feels like she can't. And there might be a time where she doesn't even listen to this. And then there's no feedback, there's no, oh, she heard how I felt, or anybody really heard how I felt. Because even if I get a view from somebody else that isn't her, nobody's leaving a comment, nobody's saying anything. So I guess I feel a little isolated. I'm like, oh, is that the title of the video? I feel isolated, and then I'm like, oh, I hope somebody clicks on it, and then they're like, nah, dude, you're not alone. You're not alone. I get what you're going through. But then I just check the time, and I'm like, did anybody make it to 12 minutes? Did anybody make it here to this point right now? Besides myself when I listen to it later? I'm like, I don't know who you are, if you even are listening. But like, I have this hope that somebody is. But I'm like, why? Why do I hope somebody is listening to this? Because I can't lie to myself. I wish somebody would listen. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to feel alone. But I am. I feel very alone. And I guess I am struggling with that right now. This feeling of isolation. I don't know, yesterday was alright. Like I was talking to my best friend for a while, and then she called me, my girlfriend called me. I don't even know if I can call her that at this point. Like I really don't know. And that sucks, right? But I'm like, I just feel alone. And I'm not entertaining. Like I don't want to be, and then I don't. And this is the thing, I can feel the self-pity coming up again. I can feel myself wanting to feel sorry for myself. I can feel it. I can feel how I want to be like, oh, woe is me. Nobody's listening to me. Oh, I'm so alone. Oh, I wish somebody would just understand me. I'm like, how do I stand by myself? Because I've been so by myself. Like, I really realized how isolated I've felt in my mind my whole entire life. I've always felt extremely isolated. Because I want that connection. I want somebody else to love me. Right? Because the love of myself, me hugging myself, me, what the fuck is this, right? I want a woman to love me. Because I'm attracted to women. I want a woman to love me in a way that I want her to love me. And I haven't let go of that concept yet. I did a little bit ago, like when I was maybe 22, 23, even 24. I wasn't in self-love. I was just protecting myself. And I wasn't opening up and I wasn't being vulnerable because I was afraid to be vulnerable. And I'm like, that's such a hard thing to be extremely vulnerable and then to get left and to be alone and to not be accepted. It's an extremely difficult thing to deal with. And I'm like, yeah, my girlfriend's not accepting my non-monogamy. She can't. She's having a really hard time accepting that. And I'm just trying to deal with the fact that she can't deal with me. But I don't know how other than to fake it. Like right now, all I'm doing is I'm just faking it. I'm just like, nah, she will deal with me. Nah, she will be here. She will eventually be with me. That will happen. It might not be today. It might not be today. It might not be the next year. It might not be the next 10 years. But eventually, she's going to be with me, and she's going to accept me for who I really am. And I'm like, wow, there's really a great possibility that that won't happen. Like, there's really just a big possibility that that's not going to happen. And I'm like, is that something I want to feel right now? Is that something I want to go through necessarily? Because even when I cried yesterday in that fucking session, I'm like, I felt good. Or I felt good afterwards. Like, I felt this release of emotions, but like, that beforehand is the worst feeling. Like, that beforehand, when you're about to cry, is the worst shit, and then you're in it, and then you're crying, and then you're feeling all of those awful emotions, and it just sucks really badly, and then you shut it off. Like, that's what I did. I felt all of my emotions for a second, but then I bottled them back up because I'm like, I can't deal with that like right now. And that's the hard part. I'm like, oh, I have to function. I have to do this job. I have to. Okay, all of a sudden I just felt how the only way I'm going to be heard is in snippets of shorts. It's just shorts. That's the only way for me to get heard is just a snippet of whatever it is that I'm thinking out of these long videos that I make. That's the only way I'm getting heard. That's the only way I'm getting some type of views and audience retention. It's like, that's it. It's right there. So I'm only having parts of me heard. And I'm like, well, you know what? I guess that's better than nothing, right? And I'm just trying to accept that as well. It's just like, yeah, there's not much I can do about that. I'm like, fuck, I don't have a bunch of loading docks today. I'm gonna be outside in this fucking weather. Like, this is snow. It's fucking snowing. I can't wait for everybody to make jokes. Oh my God, you're wearing shorts. Wow. Like, oh, well, ha ha ha. That's so, I'm like, is this what I want to deal with right now? I'm like, no, I don't. Whatever, though. Life is life. Anyways, I'm like, what's the feeling again, even right now? I don't know how to describe it. But I guess I'd like to try. Like, fuck it, nothing else to do right now. I'm just sitting in traffic looking at the snow. So I guess I'll just talk about how I'm doing in this current moment. I don't know. I have seasonal things, I think. Like, it's weird when the snow is here or something. Like, during wintertime, fall, when the rain comes back, you know, when summertime's over, there's always such a strange feeling that I have, and I don't know what it is. I'm like, the sun's gone. The sun is not here, right? I think that is affecting my mood, because I do like when the sun is here. The sun feels good. But it's cold right now, and it's snowing. And I'm like, I feel like I'm back in high school again. I think I've said this before, but like I feel like I'm back in high school. And I'm like, well, what happened in high school? I'm like, I was very isolated. There was times where I was trying to just fit in. And I don't like thinking about high school. I don't like thinking about school at all, because of how bullshit it was and how much shame is actually still there and how much shame I still feel and embarrassment, right? Because, you know, kids in high school, dude, they're just so, or just school in general, they're so brutal, right? Everybody shits on each other. I was bullied a little bit, but like not ridiculously or whatever, but like I still feel those effects, like to some degree. I'm not gonna be, oh my God, I was heavily bullied, like whatever, you know? Well, okay, all of a sudden I'm remembering this story. Like I was in 7th grade, and I remember I got suspended because I threatened to bring a gun to school to fucking shoot this kid or whatever. Like I didn't fucking feel that. Like I didn't have a gun. I didn't own a gun. But I'm like, I just want to fucking shoot you or whatever, because he was such a prick. He was such a cunt. Like I just remember him. He was a big fucker, you know. And I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna say his name. Like whatever. It's just he was a big fuck, and I was shorter, very skinny, just easy to pick on, kind of to some degree. But I had this attitude to me that could only be tested with physicality. I'm like, well, I can't stand up to you physically, and that's all you have over me. And I remember I had a quote-unquote best friend all the way back then as well, and he used to like just hit me, and he was really abusive, and he was also a big kid. I couldn't beat him up, I couldn't do anything to him, but I remember he was adopted, and I didn't even realize that, and he went through so much shit, and damn, all those memories, like Jesus, that's what I mean. There's so many things in my childhood, it's ridiculous. But I actually want to talk about that for a second. I'm like, yeah, man, I remember like I don't want to super digress into everything, but I just remember just how he was, like, and even how that made me feel. Oh my God, all these memories of being a child are all of a sudden like coming back up. And I'm like, oh, this is, well, fuck it, whatever. Like I remember I liked his mom. I remember I thought his mom was hot. And I really wanted to fuck his mom when I was young. And this is what I mean. I'm just feeling all of those emotions again. I'm like feeling all of these things that I used to feel as a kid. Like and then I was even thinking about it this morning. Like, yeah, like Jesus, when I was growing up, I was watching pornography every single fucking day during my puberty. Like that's what I grew up on. My whole sexuality was developed off pornography. And I'm still dealing with that. Like I'm still dealing with how damaged I am because of that. And again, that was also another hard realization. I'm like, I really thought pornography was helping me. I thought like, yeah, it's just a natural release. What's the issue? I didn't realize how bad it fucked up my sexuality. Like and being intimate with a real woman. I didn't realize how much that fucked me up. And yeah, I'm going down that list now. My brother's ex-girlfriend, the married woman, this little Asian woman that I got with, and then my girlfriend, and then the side woman that I got with back in May. But I'm specifically thinking about the married woman, and I'm like, you know what I feel about her or whatever? She was just kind of safe. And I'm like, oh God, how descriptive do I want to get? Fuck it. Like she had big titties, really loved her titties. I'm like, oh God, am I really going to upload this? It's like, yeah, I do. I'm like, okay, is anybody going to listen? Whatever, right? And that's just what I'm going to say. Like, I just remember all that. Like, I loved her titties. I loved playing with them. I remember those, and there's always that first initial feeling of when you grab some titties for the first time, like a new pair of titties. I don't know. I'm like, oh God, who's relating to this? Nobody. It's just me. It's just for me. And if anybody wants to whatever and say whatever, I'm like, I just want to let it go. And it's hard. It's really hard to let that go. It's really hard to be that vulnerable. It's really hard to open up about shit like that, like, and just say what it is actually. Because I talk like that with my best friend, like, you know, to some degree. I'm just like, yeah, she had just big old titties, and I loved them. Just, yeah, whatever. You just talk about it. You know, and you express that, and even like just feeling that and thinking about it. I don't know. I feel that I'm about to be alone again. Like, this is what I mean, like this feeling of isolation. I feel like me and my girlfriend aren't going to work out right. Because even what I just said right now, I'm like, I don't think she's going to listen to this, but even what I just said right now is something she can't listen to. And that's what I mean, like, I'm not forcing her to listen to this. She can listen to it and immediately pause it, turn it off, and be like, I can't listen to that. I'm gonna send it to her anyways. Like, I'm gonna continue to do that. I'm like, you can listen if you want to, you don't have to, whatever. But this is what I'm going through, you know. But that's still not even, like that's still not even anything of what I'm going through, because there's still that fear that she is listening, and there's still that fear of rejection. And there's still that fear that, yeah, if I say all these things, it's just going to reinforce the idea that we need to break up. And I'm like, well, you know what, dude? Like, I have to embrace myself. These are the things I like to think about. These are the things that I do think about. And I don't want to be ashamed of them. I don't want to be afraid of getting rejected because I like a woman's titties. And I want to fuck other women. And I find them attractive. And I want to do something with them. Like, I don't want to be ashamed of that, because she has no problem accepting so many other aspects of me except my not monogamy. Like, that's just it. Like, she can talk to me about 10 million other goddamn things, but not my not monogamy. She can't talk to me about that. And I'm trying to accept that. I'm trying to just deal with that. It's hard. It's really, really hard. But that's life, and there's nothing I can do about it. If she ends up leaving, if she ends up really in March just walking away from me and saying, no, I got to take care of myself, I'm like, you know what, that might be the necessary break that we need, or it might just be permanent. I have no idea. Like I said, it's all uncertain. Uncertainty is just riddled in my life. Nothing seems sound. Nothing seems to make sense. Nothing seems to be completely grounded, right? I can't grasp onto anything. There's nothing to fall back on. Like, I don't have it. I really don't have it. This keeps me grounded. You know, everybody likes to talk about that goddamn shit, right? But I don't have it. I don't have religion. I don't have a particular ideology that I'm following of any kind. I'm questioning everything. I'm questioning every single day. I'm questioning just new discoveries. I'm questioning new realities, new realizations. Like, every single day, I don't know what's going to happen. And there is a feeling of like, yeah, there is this excitement, but nervousness, but an overall uncomfortable feeling to every single day, because I don't know what emotions I'm going to go through, right? I don't know what today's going to bring me. I don't know what timing's going to happen on my route. I don't know what's going to happen when I get home. I just don't. I can have ideas. I can have all these things. I don't know what emotions are going to come up. I don't know. I don't know. I just want to accept that I don't know as well. Like, I'm still trying to accept that. And that's the other thing. I will always be trying to accept that. It's always going to be like that. And that's the other thing. That's also another perfectionist ideal that I have, is trying to find perfect acceptance in things. Oh, I accept that reality. Oh, it is what it is, right? Oh, I can just say that and accept it perfectly. Like, there's a lot of things I'm trying to accept that I'm having a really hard time accepting. I'm trying to accept that, yes, I might not be with my girlfriend. I might end up being alone. I might just not find anybody or something. Just the fear of an outcome, the fear of rejection, fear, being in a constant state of being afraid. I am fighting through all of these things. I've been very vulnerable on here, but how many people actually heard it? Because it's real easy to say everything when nobody's listening. But as soon as somebody's actually listening and then they directly reject you with some type of comment or just something, that hits completely differently. Because like I said, it's real easy to yell and scream out in a fucking empty room your deepest, darkest secrets, but when you say it in front of a crowd and then you can feel the ridicule of everybody, that's completely different. That's a whole different level of trying to let go. You know, you're actually trying to let go of what people think of you. Because it's real easy, again, I said that before, it's like, well, I don't give a fuck what people think about me. I'm like, well, you don't really open up about shit anyway, so like, good for you. It's like, try to be vulnerable, try to open up to people instead of like saying, well, I don't care, I don't want to open up. I'm like, that's true strength to me. True strength to me is being vulnerable and not being afraid to be vulnerable in front of anybody. And if they decide to reject you, fuck them. But it's easier to say fuck them beforehand and not open up. But it's real hard to open up about something, be very, very vulnerable, and then you trust somebody, and then they reject you and they don't accept you. People don't do that very often. People don't open up about deep, dark vulnerabilities with much of anybody. Like there's people that take shit to the grave. There's people that are in relationships that just, they say nothing to their partner about a particular fact about them forever and ever until the end of time. There's just something you just don't tell your fucking significant other. That happens all the time in relationships. And I'm not that way. I don't want to be that way. I don't want to have this feeling of, oh, don't open up about that because then you're going to reject me. I don't want to be afraid to say anything. You know, again, I don't want to be a goddamn showbox of just saying all the goddamn everythings all the time. Like, I don't want to do that either, but I don't want to have a piece of information about myself that I'm ashamed of. I don't want to have a piece of information about myself that I'd be afraid to share. I want to be an open book, right? I want to be very vulnerable, not to the point of oversharing or something, but I simply don't want to have pieces of me that I'm afraid to expose. And that's going to take a long time. I'm not going to find this, and that's another piece of perfection again. Oh, I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not afraid to show myself. I feel like I will always have some level of fear of rejection. I don't know how to perfectly get rid of that. I don't think I can. You know, I feel like it's always going to be there for as long as I live. These fears and these natural instincts, you know, like it's always going to be there, and there's nothing I can do about it except try to adapt and just get better at accepting that I have these things. Like, that's all I feel like I can do. Which again is another hard reality. It's another hard thing to deal with. Wow, all of a sudden I just had this feeling. I'm like, I look over to the left, here's the barrier, over on the other side is the highway. I'm like, what if I just drove over it? Like, I just felt that right now. I'm like, what if I just did that? I'm like, that's just the call of the void again. That's just that call of the void shit. It's just very interesting when I feel that sometimes. I haven't felt that in a long time, but I just felt it right now because I'm just like, you know what, fuck it. Let's see how this truck tips over the fucking side of the rails. Let's see how that goes. You know? But I didn't do it, obviously. I'm still fucking talking on here, but it's so interesting how those thoughts sometimes creep into my head and I think about it and I'm just like, damn, what the fuck? Did I really just think about that right now? Yes, I did. Whatever, anyways, until, goodbye.